Dr. K.N. Gupta, on the behalf of Chemical Engineering, will apprise you about the opportunities in chemical engineering and the facilities which we have in our chemical engineering department. First, coming to the opportunities, the chemical engineering offers wide range of opportunities for engineer graduates in various sectors like petroleum and oil refinery, fertilizer, paints, cement, pharmaceutical industries, polymer, and various other chemical process industries. Now, here at JUT Guna, the Chemical Engineering Department is well equipped with the state-of-art laboratories at par with any IIT or NIT in the country. The laboratories which we have in our department are Solid and Fluid Mechanical Operation Lab, Heat Transfer Lab, Mass Transfer Lab, Chemistry Lab, Environmental Engineering Lab, Chemical Reaction Engineering Lab, Instrumentation and Process Control Lab, and Process and Modeling Simulation Lab. Now I will demonstrate some of the selected equipment from our chemical engineering laboratories through which you can easily understand the applications of chemical engineering, and these equipments are also used in almost all the chemical process industries. So first I will demonstrate absorption in a packed bud column. It is a mass transfer equipment. So the purpose of this equipment is to separate unwanted impurity from the gas mixture. So basically it can be used as an air pollution control device or as a purification equipment in various chemical process industries. So in this equipment what we do is we prepare a synthetic mixture of CO2 and air, and then that CO2 and air mixture is admitted from the bottom of the column and it will move in the upward direction, and then NaOH solution is fed from the top of the column and it moves in the downward direction. So in the column, inside the column, there is a counter-current contact between the upflowing gas and a downflowing liquid. So during their contact, the CO2 present in the air will get transferred into the NaOH solution, into the liquid stream. So in this way, the amount of CO2 present in the air gets reduced. So finally, the air is removed from the top will contain negligible amount of CO2, and from the bottom we will get a NaOH solution containing small amount of CO2. So this is all about absorption column, and it is a very important equipment in all the in chemical industries. So the next equipment which I am going to demonstrate is water cooling tower. It is also a mass transfer equipment. It is a very important unit operation as far as chemical engineering is concerned. Now the use of water cooling tower in chemical industries is to provide cooling water to various equipments used in the industry. Now here the temperature of water which is obtained from this cooling tower is in the range of 15 to 25 degrees centigrade. Now in this equipment what we do is the hot water is allowed to enter. Hot water is allowed to enter from the top of the column and it flows downwards, and the air is allowed to enter from the bottom of the column and it will flow in the upward direction. So during their counter current contact, the temperature of the water gets reduced and the humidity of air will get increased. So from the bottom of this column we'll get a cold water in the temperature range of 15 to 25 degrees centigrade, and from the top we'll get humidified air. So the purpose of the cooling tower is twofold. One is to reduce the temperature of a water, and number two, to increase the humidity of air. So this is widely used in chemical industries for providing cooling water to several units. Now I will show you some of the equipment from the Solid Fluid Mechanical Operations Lab. As you can see, the first three equipments are jaw crusher, hammer mill and ball mill. All these three equipments are related to size reduction. Means in all these three equipments we can reduce the size of the particles. So the first one is jaw crusher. So in jaw crusher the feed is a coarse size particles. Means the size of the particles which we use in this jaw crusher is around 5 centimeters, and when it enters into the jaw crusher the material gets crushed and the product which we obtain is in the range of around 1 to 2 centimeters. So here the particles are fed from the top, and this jaw crusher consists of two jaws, one movable and one immovable, and when particles get trapped in between the jaws, the material gets crushed and we obtain particles whose size is between 1 to 2 centimeters. Then the next one is hammer mill. Now, generally in hammer mill, the product which is obtained from the jaw crusher is taken as a feed in the hammer mill. Now, in the hammer mill, the feed enters into this hammer mill from the top, and then in this we have, it contains some hammers. Then due to the impact of hammers, the particles gets crushed, and finally the size of the particles, it gets reduced to around 5 mm. Now in all these equipments, in both these equipments, we can also calculate the energy which is utilized in the size reduction. Then the next is the ball mill. Now in the ball mill, similarly, the product from the hammer mill can be used as a feed for the ball mill. So in this ball mill, we have this revolving cylinder. So this cylinder revolves and it contains some balls. When this cylinder revolves, the ball will fall on the material and the material gets crushed into the powder form. So finally here we obtain a powder form in micron size from a feed of around 5 mm particle size. Here also we can calculate the energy utilization in the size reduction equipment. Now this is the next equipment, which is a cyclone separator. Now this is widely used in the cement industries, and it is an air pollution control device. It is used to remove dust particles or fine solid particles from the gas stream. So in this experiment, what we do, we remove dust particles present in the air with the help of a cyclone separator. So here the air containing dust particle enters into the cyclone separator. So when high flow rate of air laden with the fine solid particles enter into the cyclone separator, it follows a spiral path. It will move in a spiral path. So due to the spiral path, the centripetal force will act, and due to that centripetal force, the solid particles present in the gas stream or in the air stream here will be thrown towards the ball. When they are thrown towards the ball, they move to the bottom and will be collected here. So the solid particles will be collected here and the clean air will be removed from here. So this is a very important air pollution control device used in the cement industry and in various metallurgical industries. Now this is a heat transfer lab. Now I will demonstrate some heat transfer equipments here. Now you can see the first equipments are double pipe heat exchanger and shell and tube heat exchangers. So these heat exchangers are widely used in the chemical industries, either to raise the temperature of a process stream or to reduce the temperature of any process stream depending upon the condition. Now the first one is double pipe heat exchanger. So this double pipe heat exchanger consists of a cylinder. This is a concentric cylinder. So the concentric cylinder means they have a same center. So here we have an inner cylinder and the outer is known as annulus. So in the inner cylinder hot fluid flows and in the annulus cold fluid flows. So when they come into contact with each other and there is a wall in between, the heat transfer between the two fluids take place, due to which the temperature of the hot fluid will get reduced and the temperature of the cold fluid will be increased. So we can measure the temperatures of all the four streams from this panel, and then finally we will find out the amount of heat transfer which has taken place between the two fluids, and we can calculate the heat transfer coefficient. So this is very widely used in the chemical industries. The next is, similarly we have this shell and tube heat exchanger. Now the purpose of both these heat exchangers are same, the only difference is the geometry. In double pipe heat exchanger we have a concentric cylinder, here concentric cylindrical pipe. Now here we have shell and tube arrangement. We will have a shell, you can see this is the shell and it contains number of tubes. So one fluid flows through the shell and one fluid flows through the tubes. So due to that the heat exchange between the two fluids take place and the temperature of the fluids will be either increased or decreased. Now the next is evaporator. This is a very important equipment. It is used in the cement, in the sugar industries. Now for the concentration of sugar. So here the sugar solution is fed into the evaporator, and with the help of steam, with the help of steam, the water present in the sugar solution will be evaporated, and finally the concentration of sugar solution will be enhanced. Now this is a chemical reaction engineering lab. Here we have different type of reactors which are used to carry out the reactions. So these chemical reactors are there in all the chemical industries to carry out the reaction which converts raw material into the product. So the first one is a plug flow reactor. So in this reactor, the reactants enter from the left and then it flows in the right direction, and finally the product is obtained from here. So we'll measure the concentration of reactant at the inlet and concentration of reactant at the outlet. So by doing this, we can find out the conversion which has taken place in this reactor. Now here the system which we take is NaOH and ethyl acetate. So NaOH and ethyl acetate are the reactants which enter from here, and then finally the product is obtained from here. So we measure the conversion of NaOH which has taken place in this reactor. Now the next reactor is this is a combined flow reactor. Here there are two reactors connected in series with each other. The first reactor is a coiled plug flow reactor and the second one is a continuous stirred tank reactor. Now this coiled plug flow reactor is similar to the straight plug flow reactor. Only thing is its shape is coiled. So the reactants enter into the first column, into the first reactor, and then the outlet from the first reactor enters into the second reactor, and finally we obtain the product from the second reactor. So generally this is done to increase the conversion of a reaction. Like there in plug flow reactor, if we achieve 60 to 70% conversion of a reactor, so by doing this we can achieve a conversion of around 80 to 90%. So in this way the conversion is generally achieved in conversion is generally increased in the chemical industries. So that's all from my side. All the best for your future and have a happy, fruitful and knowledgeable 4-year stay at JUT campus. Thank you.